Janelle Anderson.
Yay!
Yay!
Yes.
This is a really fun day, and we apologize for being late today because we had technical difficulties.
Yes.
You would have
Hassles.
heard about three of me all at the same time, and that would not be good. So
Oh
today
well.
we're celebrating a beautiful book, a book that is brought by a woman that Miss Janelle Anderson, who has a heart of pure gold and who has really truly shared some magic in the pages of this book. And today we had an earlier broadcast which talked about her vision for the book and why she wrote the why behind it, which is always that very, very important big thing for us to talk about. Now we want to talk about her star process. And she has a workbook that goes with her book and where she really goes deep into the star process. So let's open the conversation for that part of this part of the conversation on just exactly what the star process is and how you came up with it.
Yes, definitely. So thank you so much for having me on and for this discussion because I think it's a really important part of the book. And the STAR process, the STAR is an acronym and it stands for a four-phased journey, a very personal transformation, like you said, deep work kind of journey. I always like to go deep, and this was a couple years ago, I think, and every year I start the new year and ask, the Lord, what's my word for the year? And this year it was go deep and go deep to go wide. And I just felt like he was really confirming to me in my heart that it's okay that I like to go deep. So it'll be good for people that want that, and maybe others won't, and that's okay. So I really feel, and from my own journey, that when you go deep, that's where you see real change in your life that's lasting. And I know it
Yes.
sounds scary to a lot of people. For me, it was scary for a long time, but then when I actually did it, it wasn't. I think that's the wrong link.
No, I just
Oh,
now got it.
that's a different one.
I just grabbed
It's a
it
new one.
from my,
Okay. I trust you.
no,
We've had trouble with links today.
we've had link troubles, but I
Yes.
can, it,
Okay.
yeah.
Anyway, so as I was writing the book and going through my journals and seeing the process I went through, I saw how I could make it fit into the acronym STAR because it's be the star of your own story. And so the S stands for the first phase, and it's for stirring up your soul, or stir up your soul, because the first part of my own journey of this waking up was this period of time where my soul was being stirred with thoughts like, where did 50 years go? 50 plus years. And what am I doing with my life? And why do I keep running up against this wall? And what's holding me back? So I began to ask myself a lot of questions. And it was like a stirring inside. And it was like a waking up to, where am I right now? And I felt like, wow, I've been sleepwalking most of my life because I haven't been aware. I haven't been diving into the deeper places. I've been sort of living a surface life. And so it was a choice to allow this to happen and to consciously stir my soul and ask myself the questions, where am I in life right now? Where do I want to be? What am I called to do? Am I following that? And then that flows into a choice. You make a choice to say, yes, I'm going to go deeper. Yes, I am going to follow the path of my own destiny. And I tell a story in the book about that path of destiny and this waking up moment in church when my pastor was teaching. And it was a choice. It was a very line in the sand kind of a choice, like, I'm going to do this. It was a decision. I am going to follow this path, and I'm going to find out what is this purpose and what is it that I am called to do for the rest of my life. I can't do anything about the past, but what am I called to do going forward? So
Right,
that's
absolutely.
S. Yeah. And then that led me into the T, which is the truth-telling phase. So it led me into this period of time where I began to really go deep and find out, ask, my heart really, what am I believing? What do I believe about myself? What do I believe about the past? what false narratives have I been operating under? And in the book, that's a longer, several chapters on this, because there was so much that I went through. A big part of it was there was a dream where I came home from a concert to this big estate that was all boarded up in shambles, and out in the backyard were all these squatters, I called them, and they had dug deep holes in the land and had built fires. They were living there. They were rooted there. And I came in there realizing that this is my property. I've been neglecting it, but it's mine. So I picked up a megaphone and started ordering them to leave.
Get out of here.
Get out of my property.
Out.
And it was a big battle. They didn't want to go. And one of them told me, no, I've been here a long time. You can't make me leave. And I had to really stand my ground. And so anyway, when I woke up from the dream, I was really like, what was that all about? And I became really aware of the fact that that was really a dream about the state of my own heart, and that I had been absent from it. I hadn't been living at home in myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so there were these squatters, and they were the lies I had believed, and they had taken root deep in my heart. And so the process was to begin to see them, uproot them, command them to go, like take authority, take a stand for my own heart. And so that's a part of this truth telling, is uncovering what are those things that you're believing that you think are true, but they're really not true. And then there's a whole section there on forgiveness. There's a whole chapter on that.
Oh, the forgiveness part is really huge, because, and a lot of times it's even the forgiveness of yourself.
Yes, that was the biggest one for me. And it usually is for most people. Yeah.
Right.
And I go through this whole process that I've learned that is very powerful. A lot of times with forgiveness, people either don't understand it, or they just do like a part of it. And there's this whole other side of it that was eye-opening for me. And so I lead everybody through that process, and really share a story where I learned it.
Doesn't Brene Brown also talk about forgiveness? We do more for ourselves.
Oh yeah, forgiveness is really.
It's not so much for the other person; it's for ourselves.
Yeah, it's not for the other person at all. Actually,
right?
It's really not. Right. It really has nothing to do with them. It has to do with you and being chained to that event. As long as you're holding on to unforgiveness and bitterness and hatred and resentment, and you want that other person to suffer, you're actually chaining yourself to it. You're not free, but they're off lollygagging around.
Yeah, and they probably don't care one way or the other, or have no recognition of the fact that they hurt you.
Right, a lot of times, yeah, or they don't care.
No, mostly they don't care. Yeah. For the types that have done those kind of deep hurts.
Yeah, exactly. So forgiveness is for you, and it's very important. It's a huge part of life, because we're, all through life, you're going to encounter things where you get hurt or offended, and you've got to be able to forgive and let go of that so that you can be free. It's not affecting you. And so that was a huge part of my process too. So it's things like that in the truth telling. And then that leads into the A. If you've done all of that work, then you start walking into this place of acceptance, accepting of who you are, seeing your true self and all the good things in you, and being able to embrace that. And then that leads in, there's another A, and that's activation. You'll start taking action on your dreams and your passions and the things you really want, because you've let go of a lot of things. And now your confidence begins to rise up, and you feel, more positive, and you begin to step into action, and as you're accepting yourself. So you're not worried anymore so much about what other people think. You're not in competition with them. You're not comparing yourself to them, and you're just motivated. And then that leads into the R, which is the full release. I call it release the river, because of several things. But one, it came from this, I went up for prayer one time in church, and the minister looked at me, and he goes right in my eyes, like really, like I felt like he was looking into my soul. He goes,
"You're looking at me?"
He says, "You draw from the river within, don't you?" And I was like, whoa,
wow.
whoa. And so it never left me. And I spent a lot of time like meditating on that, like thinking about that. And, in the Bible, there's a scripture where Jesus talks about the Holy Spirit being like this ever flowing fountain within, and I think about this river of life that's in us, that is our true selves, and us being fully released to let that river flow. And when you think about rivers, they're mighty and they're strong and they're powerful and they affect the environment. They're moving, they're changing things, and they're just flowing, and they give life to everything around them. So this place of full release and really stepping into that place of being center stage in your own life, as the star of your story. You're not comparing yourself anymore. You're just fully releasing everything that's in you. So we talk a lot about, clear eyes and full heart, and really going for it, and, stepping fully into all that you are and all that you have to give, and not holding back.
And that full process is so freeing, and it makes such a difference on how you show up in the world.
Yes.
And look at how you're leading in this world, and what you're doing, because you're paving the way just by being able to stand up and talk about not only your story, but what you've done about that, your choice, really,
Right.
your choice to thrive, your
Yeah.
choice to be good, be well in this world.
Yes.
And for all of us, it is a choice.
It is.
And sometimes we just don't know how to get from point A to point B. But your book really is an amazing guide for that. And I want
Thank
to
you.
just congratulate you.
Thank
Well, you did become a #1 bestseller, and
Yay!
you are a bestseller in a number of different categories. Actually, in the top 100 of any given category, if you're in the top 100, you're considered a bestseller. But it's
Oh, wow.
always so magical to get the #1. But when you think about all the books that are being published now, that it's quite an accomplishment,
Yes.
to be able
Yes.
to say, wow, look at what I've done. But
Yes.
I was really amazed by you, and I wanted to kind of talk about, um, you have some amazing endorsements for your book.
Mhm. I
And
do.
there's a process to this, and this is something that I really work to encourage my authors to go out and get those endorsements. What was that process like, and who was your biggest endorser?
Oh, so yes, that process was interesting, because I thought, well, who do I want to ask to endorse my book? I wanted to be, I want it to be people that have, a voice in the world, have a place in the world. And, how many people do I know that are like really well known? Not very many. So I was really intentional about who I asked. And my best one, I think, is Brian Tracy. I mean, Brian Tracy, the Brian Tracy,
Yes.
endorsed my book. And I'm in his, I took his course on book writing, and a part of that was that they offered this to their students. But I don't know how many students actually go back and say, hey, I took your course and I wrote my book. Would you endorse it? But I did. And they very graciously had him write. He wrote it. And I'm in one of his groups, and I posted in there and thanked him for it. And he actually, I think I posted that my book was coming out, and he actually responded, to that post.
Oh, isn't that
Congratulations.
awesome?
Ah!
Yeah, and I have it right here. It says, this wonderful, inspiring book gives you a blueprint for happiness, success, and a good life. Read it, apply it, and let those ideas change your life.
Yes. Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank
That
you.
is
And they
awesome.
did ask for excerpts, I think, for several chapters of my book, before they would write the endorsement. And I don't know if everyone listening knows who he is, but he's written, I don't know, 50 some books. He's well known in the self-improvement area. He
Yeah.
teaches people how to write books, how to be good speakers. He's amazing what he's done. So look him up. You'll see how
Yeah,
big of a deal this is. Yeah.
truly amazing. And it doesn't say anything less for the rest of those that gave endorsements. You do
Yes.
have a remarkable number of endorsements, and that's something to be really proud of. It takes
Yes.
a lot of effort to pull a book together in the way and because of the endorsement process, sometimes that takes even a couple of extra months,
It does.
to
Yeah.
bring a book to the world, because it's a process, and it takes, most of these people that will write an endorsement like the Brian Tracy's, like all the other ones that did that for you. They live busy lives too. It means they have to stop long enough to read at least portions of your book in
Yeah,
order to be able to do that. So it's
exactly.
really an honor when these endorsements come through, and look what you've been able to do.
Yeah, it really is.
Amazing.
Another one that really I love is Susie Carter, who
Yes.
was, if you've heard of Lisa Nichols, she's from
Mm-hmm.
The Secret and is very well known as a speaker. I love Lisa Nichols. I've been to several of her conferences, and I also took one of her courses on speaking. And at her conferences, Susie Carter always comes out and speaks and shares in the teaching because they're like close buds. And Susie was actually Lisa's business coach and partner for years. And I'm on Susie's email list. I've got her book. She's written lots of books, but I have her latest book and I've always admired her and loved her. And she showed up in one of these collaborating networking meetings that I was in a breakout room that I was in. And I was like, oh my gosh, Susie Carter.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. So I told her, I said, I'm a big fan. I have your book. And anyway, throughout the discussion, she said to me, let's have a separate, meeting on Zoom. And so she agreed to be on my podcast too. So she's actually on my podcast. And I asked her if she would consider endorsing my book. She said, yes, send it to me when you get done. And I did, and she endorsed it. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did write a really beautiful one. And if you don't mind, I'll share it with
Yes,
them.
please.
It says, in a world of so much confusion and darkness, this book shines a light on the path to truth and freedom. Takes center stage, emerges on the scene exactly when we need an authentic, encouraging, and hopeful message that speaks straight to the heart. A must-read for any woman feeling stuck and directionless. The opening grabs your attention, and you realize that if Janelle can do it, I can do it. It's a rally cry for women who want to make a profound difference in their life. The transparency and honesty makes you feel like you are part of history, part of the story, part of the story.
Yes.
So
Yes.
very cool.
Yes.
Susie
That
Carter.
was,
She wrote author of Power Your Profits.
Yep. She's amazing. She's a multimillionaire. She's created several, I think, millionaire businesses. She's just incredible. So to have her endorsement was huge. And of course, I have others on there too that are just as special.
Yep.
And I have to say, like, getting endorsements I can imagine it being a big block for a lot of authors because you have to approach people that maybe are, higher up in, more well-known or whatever in the world and ask them to endorse your book. And that can be intimidating. And
very.
I put it off for a long time because I was like, oh, I don't know if I should ask.
No,
but
it
doesn't hurt to ask. All they can say is no. So that's
very good.
Kind of what got me going there.
Well, congratulations on a beautiful, beautiful book.
Thank you so much.
And all that you've done and do and will continue to do in the world. There is a beautiful workbook that goes with it, and I did not get that yet. I have it on its way.
Yeah.
And they just go hand in hand, beautiful pieces of work that kind of, the workbook helps you to go a little bit deeper where you actually have to put pen to paper and kind of really convey your thoughts. There's links in the book to actually get the workbook as well. So
there's also links in there for little videos that I've created. And so make sure you watch those. And I just want to say too, today I've been giving away free workbooks. I've been popping up and doing lives all day. And several people have won one already. So be watching for that. And my party tonight, I'll be giving away some.
Your party tonight. Do you want to put the link in the message box? Do you have it? So this is what Janelle's talking about within the pages of the book. She created a QR code with her special message. And basically what you do with that is just hold your camera on your phone over it, and Janelle comes to life speaking, and that will help you to capture even a deeper essence of what the message that she's bringing forth. So
yes,
very, very cool.
I don't see where I can put a message. I can private message you.
Do you have the link and we can type a message over here on the side? A link to your Zoom?
Yeah, I can put it in the private message to you, but I don't see where I can actually.
Oh, well then I'll copy that.
Okay, yeah, I
That's
don't see
weird.
it's
I
available.
didn't know you couldn't do that. So
Yeah, I don't
I'm
see
always on
any.
the other end of this thing.
Yeah. I don't see anywhere to leave a message.
No.
Kelly's on and my sister Joyce are watching.
I
Hi.
see them.
Yes.
Nothing like
There it
lovely
is.
support. Yep, there's the
Yes.
link. If anybody wants to get it, that'll go to Facebook and the YouTube channel. So very
And I do
cool.
want to say a big shout out to my launch team who has been there for me and has been so wonderful to help support and get the word out. And it's because of them I reached bestseller status already, I think, because they're helping me so much. So thank you, launch team. You're the best.
Yay! All right. Well, thank you for this fun celebration. I'll see you this couple hours for your
Yeah.
online book launch
Yep.
party,
Yep.
and congratulations to you.
Thank you. See
Okay.
you all
All right.
later.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.